Okay, everybody, so who's excited for Starfield? And who's excited? It's me. It's Maze. Welcome back to the channel, everybody. If you guys are interested in some MMO RPG news following the upcoming release of Starfield, as well as World of Warcraft and various other things, go ahead and slap that like. Subscribe to the channel if you could. I already have my watch time done. I'm just looking for subscribers now, so if you guys can help me out, that would be fantastic. And let's get into it. Why am I excited for this? Because I love Bethesda. I really do. I love the exploration. I love the lore, the world building, the NPCs, the stories. It draws me in. It's immersive. So when Bethesda Game Studios revealed that prior to the Elder Scrolls 6, they would be releasing a brand new IP that would be a science fiction RPG that would involve open world space exploration, I loved it. I love the idea of it, and I can't wait. So let's jump straight into it. We're going to take a quick look at the trailer, and then I'll give my personal opinions at the end. So let's go. Alright, so what do we know? We know that the game was originally set to release November of this year, but has been delayed to the first half of next year. This will be probably likely a Q2 release. It's also been confirmed that there will be multiple DLCs and other post-release content. That has me super excited because, like I said, I've really been excited for this game for a while now. And watching the trailer, we can see that there's a lot of similarly upgraded Bethesda systems. We got the outposts and buildings, the quick menu, perks, training, and different traits with pros and cons that come with them. We also know that this time around, it will be a voiceless protagonist. Something people seem split about, but for me, however, I like the voiceless protagonist in a game that is going to be heavily focused on player choice and character building. To me, it just makes more sense. The NPCs, as of now, have over 200,000 lines of dialogue, again, a step up from their previous games, and the main quest is longer than any of their prior games. Todd Howard stated that it should take the player somewhere between 30 and 40 hours to complete the main quest. I can only imagine how much time we can sink into all the various other side quests and faction quests that are going to be found in this game. Just like all their games, the main quest is just but a small little piece of everything they have to offer. Speaking of the story, we know that the game takes place in 2033, which is 20 years after a faction war between the United Colonies and the Freestar Collective, two factions that we'll get to here in just a moment. Since that time, we were told that things have kind of cooled down, died down on both sides, and they're just going about doing their daily things. So we already have some friction and conflict between two of the three major factions in the game. And outside of that, from what little that we know, the game will revolve around our character coming across an artifact that I assume we will find during the opening scene of the game. And I have to say that I really like this first pan over the terrain, and I also liked how simple and clean the HUD looks. One thing that Bethesda games often do is overwhelm you with a mix of managing your inventory and adding various menus and submenus and HUDs. Hopefully this time we will have a simple and clean system to stop that overwhelming Bethesda, like I like to call it, inventory bloat. I know it's probably my fault. I want to go around, I want to find all the stuff, I want to pick everything up, but still, I think that they could help us manage that cluster of just junk and garbage and all those lovely things that they place out into the game world for us to collect. And you can see right away during the HUD reveal that it has an oxygen and a CO2 meter, as well as a scanner that shows the temperature, the O2, and the gravity. And as we see in this first jump, gravity will have an effect on the player movement. And then again later in the trailer, they actually show some anti-gravity gunplay, which looked pretty freaking cool. We also have the addition of what appears to be a survey scanner that seems to be showing the percentage of the planet that we explored, or maybe that's showing us the amount of the area of the quest in our current mission. If I was traveling around space, I feel like that these are all things that I would most want to have with me, and I would want to have monitored, and I would want to have information on at all times. Alright, and the combat, I liked it. If you watch closely, you can see that the menus popping up showing a real-time looting system similar to that of Fallout 4. Less time in menus and more time in game is always welcome. You also have the option when targeting over a weapon to either auto-equip it from the very start by holding the action button, or just clicking to pick it up and put it in your inventory. And what I really like is the quick swap seems to be more integrated for combat. I use the favorites and quick menu all the time in both Skyrim and Fallout 4, and I did that to achieve less time inside the menus, so seeing any upgrade to this is very appealing. As we can see with the part with the guy with the jetpack on, that you can target certain parts of the body in ground combat, and you can do the same thing when attacking ships, as you see later on in the trailer. And our jetpack appears to have a boost meter that uses it up, and as you let it go, it slowly refills, so that should be able to get us quickly across the terrain or from high point to high point. And then from there we get to see a little bit of the story. We'll be returning after the opening scene, arriving in the city of New Atlantis, join up with a faction known as Constellation. The main story seems to begin after we find and acquire some form of artifact, and from there, it seems like we'll be trying to unlock and solve the mysteries of what's out there. And I can't help but notice that we can only make humans, at least from what I see in character creation. This makes me think that maybe a major part of the story revolves around the artifact and other intelligent life. Maybe that up to this point humans haven't yet discovered anything like that, and maybe these artifacts are a remnant of some lost past civilization. Maybe they had moved on or relocated, or maybe they had been long wiped out. And there's just so many questions and ideas running through my head, and all of it has me excited. And as for other locations in the game, not really. We get to see New Atlantis, get to see a few planets, but the one thing we do get to see is the city of Neon, which is a pleasure city where the Xenocorp started catching fish with a psychotropic quality. They then took said fish and started producing something called Aurora. And since then, the city has grown and thrived. One small note about Neon, though, comes from the part where they were showing the character traits. And in the character building, it seems that there will be factions or bounties. And it seems like maybe we'll be able to work with maybe different groups in different cities and acquire reputation, increase reputation or decrease reputation based on getting bounties and working for rival companies. And then speaking of the factions, we know that there will be at least 3 main factions in the game: the United Colonies, who appear to be the main militant organization throughout the known solar system. You have the Crimson Fleet, who are your pirate and anti-government faction, and then the Freestar Collective, who had previously been at war with the United Colonies, and they seem to be more of a peacekeeping faction, and a group of people that said that they're just getting by, so they seem more like maybe a people's militia. And with all of this out of the way, Todd showed us the character creation, and this deserves a breakdown by itself, so I really just want to briefly look over this. As with their other games, you can change your appearance in-game at a later time. There are 16 to 20 what they call backgrounds that you can choose for your character, and each of those will contain 3 traits. There's positive and negative effects that will be linked with some of those. And then we have the skill system, which is broken down into physical, social, combat, science, and tech, each with 4 tiers that we will unlock and rank up through challenges and through use of the skill. And then we get a brief look at the crafting and research system. It looks like that we will research things first, and then that will open up the ability to craft them. Researching includes pharmacology, food and drink, outpost development, equipment, and weaponry. I really enjoy crafting systems in open world RPGs, so this is something that I'll be keeping my eye on and looking for a lot more information about. And additionally to the item crafting system, we have the crafting system of the outposts. Outpost building, we see in the trailer, is somewhat similar to that of Fallout 4. We see on the meter here that you will have a build limit, but we'll have the addition of an isometric view while trying to build. I know in Fallout 4 at times it was difficult trying to run around and place things. No word how in-depth this is going to be, but I would assume that this will be a step up, as well as the ability to bring in different people to help run your outposts. And I'm thinking and hoping that the outposts will be needed for us to move further and further out in the galaxy, needing an outpost to go back to refuel and to get supplies the further we get away from known civilization. And to get there, we need our ship. And yes, you will be able to fly your ship, you'll be able to buy parts for it, build it, steal ships, board ships, dock ships. You can do all of that. There'll be crews that we can place on our ship, and I would assume that these will help with our ship's stats. The ship stats will include laser, ballistics, missiles, hull, shield, cargo, crew, jump range, mobility, top speed, and mass. Looks like parts will be acquired or bought, and from there we can piece and mix them to build the ship that we desire. We can also gain skills for the ships. It didn't really go into this, but one that you did see flash up on the screen was called Starship Design, which equips auto-deploy landing gear to help pilots land on even the roughest of terrain. And this sounds like something that's probably going to be an upgrade, and I assume this is what's going to unlock the ability for us to land anywhere on the planet, as Todd had told us. And with our ships, combat, smuggling, the ability to board other ships, maybe this is just mission based, or maybe it's an actual mechanic where you can disable a ship, you can board it, you can steal the ship, take the crew, maybe take them prisoner, and maybe some of them can come work for you. I mean, who knows? And as stated with the outposts, you will need to dock and refuel your ship, and I would assume that the need to refuel, like I said, is what's going to make your outposts important, forcing you to set up outposts in different galaxies to allow you to hop from system to system to system, the further and further and further you get away from the civilized planets. And all this is why I'm excited for Starfield. And if that wasn't enough, Todd showed us one last thing, because he always shoots for the moon, and he decided to show us just how big Starfield was going to be. So here is Todd Howard.
And you may be wondering, just how big is this game? So we thought we'd take one last moment and show you. Let's take a look at one of our planets, Jemison. You can land into Atlantis, but you can also land and explore anywhere on the planet. And it's not just this planet, it's all the planets in the system. From barren but resource-heavy ice balls to Goldilocks planets with life. And not just this system, but over 100 systems. Over 1,000 planets, all open for you to explore.
And take my money, Todd. Over 1,000 planets. Yeah, a lot of these are going to be procedurally generated, but the size of it just has me wondering. You know, I'm pretty sure the further you get away from the civilized systems, the less there's going to be on each of these planets. But will there be a few things hidden in each solar system while we try to find these relics from this past civilization? Will it force us to go out there? Will we be forced to build outposts from system to system so we can, like I said, hop out there further and further and further and further into the galaxy? And how many of the DLCs will expand more and more on these different planets and system? How much room is this going to give modders to make anything and everything that we ever wanted? And this could be a massive playground for both modders and gamers. And I know I've heard the skepticism, but personally, I'm excited. I hope you guys are too. I'm just excited to see what's going to come out until the game finally releases, probably Q2 next year. You guys, this is Maze. Everybody enjoy yourself and stay excited.